tears welling up in her eyes, tried to persuade me. She had been awful to me before. Even with tears in her eyes, I couldn't trust her. I looked at her with a cold gaze. Yet, seeing me silent, she seemed to think she could somehow persuade me. She smiled warmly at me.
Emily, you want to marry Dan, right? I won't oppose it anymore, it's okay. I'll do anything for you.
She clung to me, desperate to become family with my father. Saying she'd do anything is the complete opposite of her initial attitude. I felt contempt for her fickleness. I muttered softly, "I don't want to."
What did you say?
She tilted her head, not catching my words. So, I shouted louder this time.
I absolutely do not want to become family with you. What?
She was taken aback by my outcry. I unleashed all my feelings towards her.
You started making derogatory comments the moment you heard where I work, and even spoke terribly about my father. I can never forgive that.
I made it clear to her.
Huh?
Realizing she couldn't persuade me any further, she turned to my father. Then, smiling at my father, she spoke.
Emily might say this, but Tim, you want your daughter to be happy, right? Our family has a lot of money, she'll surely be happy with us. There might be people who think money equals happiness. But I'm not one of them.
My father countered her words, understanding my feelings.
Emily values love more than money. Besides, we have enough money. I make a decent amount from acting.
She was at a loss for words. It's no surprise. After all, my father is a famous actor who appears frequently on TV. He earns a lot and we're not struggling for money. There's no merit for me to marry just for financial reasons, considering my family's wealth. Realizing this, she fell silent. Probably unable to think of a good counter-argument. Seeing her silent, my father continued.
You say you're a fan of mine. But I hate people who disregard my precious daughter. Could you please stop calling yourself a fan?
With that, my father glared at her. Then, tears started streaming down her face.
If Tim hates me, I can't go on living.
She broke down crying. Dan, who had been silent until now, began to speak.
Keep quiet and you can say whatever you want, huh? Emily, you'll regret breaking off our engagement. No one else will want a plain Jane like you.
Dan smirked.
Hey, Dan!
His mother tried to stop him, in front of my father. But Dan didn't stop.
I chose you because I thought you'd be submissive. I planned to cheat with cute girls once we were married. This is really annoying.
He blabbered about things I didn't even want to hear. Hearing Dan's words, I thought calmly. There was never any love from Dan. He just wanted a convenient woman to marry. My feelings for Dan had long since cooled. While I was pondering this, Dan continued with his selfish remarks.
Hey!
My father was grinding his teeth, looking like he was about to grab Dan any moment. It was probably time for me to retaliate.
Wait, Dad!
I stopped my father. Still wearing sunglasses, I let out a slight smile.
What's up?
Dan seemed a bit taken aback by my composed smile.
Is this plain enough for you?
I quickly took off the sunglasses I had been wearing.
What?
Dan stared at my face, frozen. And no wonder. After taking off the sunglasses, I was fully made up. Normally, I only wear foundation. But now, I had on eyeshadow, mascara, and eyeliner. After greeting my father and crying, I immediately did my makeup. Just eye makeup, but it significantly changed my appearance.
Is that really you, Emily?
Dan's face turned a bit red. He was probably mesmerized by my makeup-enhanced appearance.
Yes, of course, it's me. I used to downplay my looks to avoid standing out. But I've stopped hiding myself.
I had always stood out involuntarily because of my father. So, I had been modest until now. But because of that, Dan and his mother spoke ill of my father. If being spoken ill of by them meant I had to stand out a bit, then I decided it was better to be myself. With his face turning red, Dan said,
If you had shown up like this from the start, I would have treated you kindly. With you looking like this after makeup, I'm willing to start over.
Let's cancel the engagement.
And while you're at it, introduce me to some beautiful actresses through your father.
Who would cancel the